Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nick sits down across from Sharon in a table at Crimson Lights and gives her a lavender latte and a large brownie. She just hung up with Mariah and talked to Noah on the phone. She embraced Faith so tightly that she made her squeak as soon as she arrived home. She thought about her children the entire time she was in captivity. Nick asks if she wants to return home to recuperate and expresses admiration for her actions. Sharon wants to be here, among people who are free and living their lives. I am too now, thanks to you, she replies, grabbing his hand. She assures him that she will never again take the most straightforward decisions for granted. Determining who is responsible for all of this will be a part of regaining control over her life. At one point, Sharon acknowledges she and Phyllis wondered if the kidnapper may be someone they knew, possibly even one of their own children. Whoever was in charge was well aware of their past. Their thoughts were so frantic that they wondered whether one of their children was attempting to discipline them. Nick is certain that none of their children will act in such a manner. To him, all of this seems like excessive therapy. She describes it as more akin to an attempted exorcism. Did it succeed? He wonders. Ironically, Sharon would like to think that the experience was therapeutic. They were compelled to rescue one another's lives and confront some of their problems. Nick finds it absurd that all of this was done for amusement. According to Sharon, the voice appeared to be conducting a psychological test. This must have been the work of someone with some psychology training. They were aware of which games would elicit the desired reactions. She finds herself thinking about how much it resembled aversion therapy. Some sort of twisted therapeutic intervention was what it was. Nick is just glad they're all right. To ensure that it doesn't happen again, they must now identify the perpetrator. Nick and Sharon talk about her confinement. Y&R. Phyllis and her kids get back together. Phyllis enters the athletic club's foyer after descending the stairs. Her children burst through the spinning doors as she hurriedly looks around. The children claim that after enjoying a group hug, they have been quite anxious. Now that she has seen her children, Phyllis is all right. They take up residence in the dining room. She is presented with a big glass of red wine and a burger and fries. As they watch her eat, the kids are beaming. Although it wasn't much of a choice, Phyllis liked that she could pick between fries and a salad. She laughs as she expresses her happiness that it isn't contaminated. Her children want to hear it all. Phyllis describes how she and Sharon ended up stranded in a clinic. She doesn't know what the purpose was. She and Sharon appeared to be forced to cooperate in some strange experiment. Phyllis talks to her children about her captivity. Y&R. Summer notes that the perpetrator has not been apprehended. She is therefore still in risk. She doesn't want them to worry any more than they already do, her mother tells them. Chance is watching out for her, and she's going to find out who did this. She is told not to become a vigilante by Daniel. He makes his mother swear that she will allow the police to handle things. According to Phyllis, her captor offered them challenges and puzzles since they were aware of her past relationship with Sharon. In the end, she was poisoned, and her life was reduced to a riddle punchline. Ironically, she wouldn't be with her children at this moment if it weren't for Sharon. She explains that she had to get Sharon back to life after discovering that she had no heartbeat when she woke up. Daniel inquires as to if any of their shared rage has been resolved. Phyllis acknowledges that they've grown to appreciate one another's qualities, albeit with occasional challenges. Summer asks whether Ian could have been responsible for this, but she doesn't want to bring it up. Her mother thought about it, but Chance reassured her that he was cremated. We need to find this freak as soon as possible, Phyllis replies. Billy is a hero in Sally's eyes. Sally informs Billy at his house that this whole situation sounds like the most bizarre kidnapping ever because he is being given clues to locate Sharon and Phyllis. She finds it hard to believe he just jumped right into finding them. Billy would have done that anyhow. The smallest possibility of saving Phyllis was too great for him to ignore. He begins to criticize himself for assuming that Phyllis abandoned him rather than seeing that something was amiss. He is reassured by Spectra that this is not his fault and that her kidnapper must have instructed her to fabricate a lie for her family. She expresses her happiness that he's all right while he drinks. Billy worries that Phyllis and Sharon would have been gas poisoned if they had arrived 5 minutes later. Sally thinks all of this is crazy. There was a happy ending, at least. Billy fears that the perpetrator is still on the loose. All they can do is hope the police discover them before someone else is harmed even more. Sally and Billy talk about FULL-Y&R's rescue. Billy wishes he could slap whoever did this to Sharon and Phyllis while Sally massages him. However, he is more than content to put on his business jacket and hang up his hero cape. He wants to focus on taking their business to the next level as soon as he is certain that Phyllis is all right. Sally strokes his neck and remarks that even without a cape, he is still a hero. They share a kiss. Billy tells Phyllis something. Billy and Sally are interrupted when Phyllis arrives at their home. She assures them that everything is nice and that she is fine. All she wanted was to talk to Billy about it. Sally says she has to return to the workplace and leaves right away. With a shudder, Phyllis confides in Billy that she's not feeling well. He is the one person who can help her regain her life. He informs her that there is no need as she apologizes, but she is adamant because she ruined their chronology. She is reminded by Billy that she was abducted. He advises her to rest for a while. Phyllis, who is crying, says that thinking on what Abbott Communications could achieve rather than just her children helped her during her captivity. She jumps up and continues talking about how they can create something amazing and improve everything. She needs it right now, and it's vital to her. Not tomorrow, not today, not until I feel better. She pleads, please, please. She can only overcome what was taken from her in this way. She maintains that she needs the excitement and energy, but Billy is concerned that she will take on more than she can manage at this time. FULL-Y&R interrupts Billy and Sally. Billy clumsily admits that he was a fool and published the press release without her name on it when Phyllis brings it up since he believed she had disappeared on him. He apologizes for that. He instantly understood that it was a mistake. Billy quickly sensed she was in trouble, but he knew she would never desert him. "Is this an act of mercy," she says, "or do you want me to collaborate with you?" "I need her fire," he says. He wouldn't want to do this with anyone else on the earth. She responds, "Of course I forgive him, he saved my life," when he begs for her forgiveness. Phyllis appears upset as she rushes into Billy's arms, and he gives her a squeeze. The clinic is searched by Chance's. Chance and his team search the medical clinic's basement. Although he instructs them on what to search for, he believes the criminal left no evidence. Even though the area has been destroyed, some fingerprints that don't belong to the two victims might still be present. They'll be one step closer to identifying the perpetrator if they can accomplish it. Pulling the covers off the gas tap while searching, he finds that the equipment that caused the leak is still there. The detective grabs the gadget and calls for a bag. Chance searches the clinic with the police. Y&R. Nick and Sharon are together when Chance later enters Crimson Lights. The officer explains that they are waiting to see if they get a hit on the fingerprints after bagging some goods at the clinic. The procurement of a remote-controlled device connected to the gas line was successfully pursued. It was purchased at a hardware store near the clinic. Chance said that in order to find a culprit, they will examine the store's security footage. Sharon claims that Phyllis despised her more than everyone else, but that isn't even true anymore. The police officer believes they may know the kidnapper. Nick is certain that there is a long list of Phyllis's adversaries. Sharon is certain that Chance will be the one to apprehend the monster responsible for all of this. The officer advises her to rest. Nick supports this by reminding her of her Sedona trip plans. Nick then proposes that she accompany Faith to see Noah in Europe. Now would be a wonderful time to go, she says, but only if Nick goes with them. Regarding the messages on his phone, Alan lies to Traci. When Traci answers Alan's buzzing phone in her suite at the athletic club, she discovers a text message that says, "Security breach at clinic. Safety measures implemented." Alan comes in eager to take her out while she's pondering that, but he sees that she's holding his phone. She explains that she grabbed his phone after hearing strange noises and noticing the bizarre messages on it. After a minute of turning away, Alan takes the phone from her hand and says he has been receiving alerts for a few days. He hasn't unlocked his phone out of fear that it has been compromised. He was so taken aback when he observed her using his phone for that reason. Traci says it seems reasonable and advises him to purchase a new phone. He must have opened his phone to text her earlier, she realizes abruptly. He laughs as they sit and remarks that he must have forgotten the danger because he was so happy to see her. They discuss the possibility that his identity was stolen. He wonders what it would be like to experience that and how beneficial it would be for a therapist to go through the psychological turmoil that must be involved. To experiencing those emotions would be an intriguing experiment. He already did while his brother Martin was posing as him, she recalls him. She suggests a few possibilities, such as the Abbott man's after it has been refreshed, when Alan shifts the conversation back to their wedding. Given how many memories they have of meeting in Paris, Traci also thought about the city. Her goal is for their wedding to be flawless. Anywhere is a good place for him to marry her. His phone begins to ping with more alerts as they kiss. What sort of hack might this be, she wonders? When she asks about the phone, Alan yells at her and turns it off. He apologizes and says he's simply anxious. He believes that they should focus on their love, and he is becoming more and more interested in the notion of being married in Paris. He proposes that they board a plane and visit certain locations. The intricate web of relationships, emotions, and mysteries in Genoa City continues to unfold as the characters grapple with the aftermath of Sharon and Phyllis's harrowing captivity. The events that transpired during their ordeal have left lasting impressions on everyone involved, forcing them to confront their pasts, their relationships, and their futures. The psychological toll of the experience is evident, but so too is the resilience and determination of those affected. As the characters navigate their way through the fallout, they are also drawn closer together, finding strength in their connections and a renewed sense of purpose. At Crimson Lights, Nick and Sharon share a moment of quiet reflection amidst the bustling cafe. Nick's gesture of offering Sharon a brownie and a lavender latte is a small but meaningful act of comfort, a reminder of the normalcy she craves after her traumatic experience. Sharon's gratitude is palpable as she takes his hand, expressing her relief at being free and her determination to reclaim her life. The ordeal has left her with a newfound appreciation for the simplest choices, a stark contrast to the helplessness she felt during her captivity. Her resolve to uncover the identity of her captor is unwavering, driven by a need for closure and justice. Nick, ever the supportive presence, reassures her that none of their children could have been involved, dismissing the dark thoughts that briefly crossed her mind. The conversation takes a philosophical turn as Sharon reflects on the twisted nature of the experience, likening it to a form of aversion therapy or a twisted therapeutic intervention. Nick, while relieved that they are safe, is equally determined to ensure that such a thing never happens again. Their bond, strengthened by the shared trauma, serves as a source of comfort and strength as they move forward. Meanwhile, Phyllis reunites with her children in a heartwarming scene at the athletic club. The joy of being back with her family is evident as she embraces them, her relief and love pouring out in the tightness of her hugs. The children, who had been worried sick, are overjoyed to see their mother safe and sound. As they settle into the dining room, Phyllis indulges in a burger, fries, and a glass of red wine, savoring the simple pleasure of being able to choose her meal. Her light-hearted comment about the food not being poisoned is a testament to her resilience and her ability to find humor even in the darkest of situations. However, the gravity of what she endured is not lost on her children, who are eager to hear her story. Phyllis recounts the bizarre nature of her captivity, describing it as a strange experiment designed to force her and Sharon to work together. The psychological manipulation and the captor's intimate knowledge of their history leave her unsettled, but she finds solace in the fact that she is now free and surrounded by her loved ones. Summer's concern for her mother's safety is evident as she points out that the perpetrator is still at large. Phyllis, however, is determined not to let fear dictate her life. With chance on her side, she is resolved to hunt down the person responsible, though Daniel insists that she leave the investigation to the police. Phyllis's recounting of the events reveals the depth of the psychological torment she endured, from being poisoned to solving riddles that seemed to mock her very existence. The irony of her survival being tied to Sharon's actions is not lost on her, and she admits that the experience has given her a new appreciation for her former rival. The possibility that Ian could have been behind the ordeal is briefly considered, but Chance's assurance that Ian is dead puts that theory to rest. Phyllis's determination to find the truth is unwavering, and she vows to ensure that justice is served. At Billy's place, Sally expresses her admiration for his heroic efforts in tracking down Sharon and Phyllis. The strange nature of the kidnapping, with its clues and riddles, leaves her baffled, but she is grateful for Billy's quick thinking and bravery. Billy, however, is plagued by guilt for not realizing sooner that Phyllis was in trouble. Sally reassures him that he acted as soon as he knew something was wrong, and she is relieved that the ordeal had a happy ending. Billy's concern for Phyllis's safety is evident, and he worries about the possibility of the perpetrator striking again. Sally's comforting presence and her belief in his heroism provide him with a sense of solace, and the two share a tender moment as they reflect on the events. Phyllis's arrival at Billy's place interrupts the moment, and she quickly gets down to business. Her determination to reclaim her life and focus on Abbott communications is evident as she pleads with Billy to let her get back to work. Her emotional outburst reveals the depth of her need to regain control and find purpose in the wake of her trauma. Billy, though concerned for her well-being,